Marvel and Netflix have done it again. Hey everybody, this is Neo Reality Entertainment. I had actually been planning to make this video, but I just kind of forgot about to do it, and then I wanted to do some more wrestling videos with WWE and Gears of War came out this year, and yeah, I had to set this back for a bit. Anyways, Luke Cage happened and I watched it. Okay, like a lot of people joked a lot about how because it stars a black guy, we gotta start in a barbershop, and I like okay, I've seen that cliche like a million times now. Like, why do they do that? Normally, it's in a barbershop because it's a trope at this point. So I did like this show. Like, it's not really the best of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's TV shows. Like, there's some writing problems, and I question one kill off they did. Like, I would have been interested in what would have happened had this character specifically lived. And honestly, this show was really great. Like, I liked Mike Coulter as Luke Cage. Like, he really fits the part. Like, when I looked at him, what he looked like in the comics, I was like, yeah, he looks like him. You can make a good Luke Cage. And he did so well in this. This takes place after Jessica Jones and during season 2 of Daredevil, where Luke Cage is in Harlem now after what happened with Jessica Jones, and is trying to rebuild something, but now is forced to confront his past and fight battle for the heart of his city. And he says he's not a hero and all that, which I can admire. Like, he's just an everyday guy who just happens to have superhuman strength and unbreakable skin. And they really go into detail about his abilities, and they also go into flashbacks about what he was like beforehand, how he was, where Sabotage Experiment gave him these abilities, and how he was a criminal framed and was sentenced to jail. Now, this show threw a lot of curveballs for me. I didn't expect. This is my actual complaint. I didn't expect Cottonmouth to die. Like, I always thought they hyped this guy up, so he's clearly going to be the villain for, like, at least the first half of the season, I bet, or the entire show, and they're going to have an underling do the whole dirty work. So, and they didn't do that. Like, Cottonmouth is killed off halfway through. And just when he felt like he had finally won, yeah, he felt like he finally won. Like, he finally knew about Luke Cage's past and had him in his pocket, and I would have been interested to see how Luke Cage could fight Cottonmouth with this problem. But no, he gets killed off by his sister, the mayor, or was it counselor? And there is okay, okay. There's like one problem here regarding the politician character. She was in Captain America Civil War. Like, when I saw her, I was like, wait, I've seen you before, but I can't put my finger on it. You were in a Marvel movie. Wait. Then I rewatched Captain America Civil War after Luke Cage, and like, oh my god, that's you! Wait, what are you doing in this show? Like, wouldn't it get confusing? Wouldn't that be a continuity error? But then there's like, oh, well, there's also a chance that they could explain that, oh, there's that rare gene where there's a copy of you somewhere in the world that just looks like you, but is completely different and is not related to you in any way. Like, they've done that on TV for a long time in movies, how there are similar characters that look like each other, but have completely different personalities and different way of life. So they could explain that. Though someone could also make the argument that this is why Marvel's TV shows and Marvel's movies are very separated, even though they're part of the same universe. And I did like how they mentioned Jessica Jones and Daredevil, saying, like, the barber, I'm trying to remember his name, Pop, yeah, like how he says like those other folks from downtown. And also we get like a return to Claire Temple, I believe her name was. Yeah, I'm trying to remember these characters' names at times since there's so many. Claire Temple, like I was not surprised she was in the show because she's in the other seasons and other shows of the Marvel Cinematic Universe on Netflix. So I wasn't surprised she was on Luke Cage. Like I didn't see the trailers, but yeah, she quit in Daredevil because, well, she quit being a nurse because of a big conspiracy the hospital was doing, trying to keep something secret, and she was against it. Then she moved to Harlem and then got involved with Luke Cage, and now she wants to help all the Inhumans, as they have to call them, since they can't call them mutants on the grounds that Fox owns the rights to X-Men. So they have to call them Inhumans or just one of them. So, and I did like the concept of how like they did with X-Men, like how they say like, oh, those with special abilities, yeah, those are them. Like they can't, like they don't call them Inhumans. I don't think that phrase has become popular enough in the world. Like that's what I think Shield called them, but people just call them. And okay, like, and they also reference the Avengers talking about the incident. And one of my favorite things was the Chitauri guns that they had. Like how it was made from Chitauri weapons from Avengers. And I was like, okay, that is a good tie-in to tie in the Avengers with the TV shows, to tie in the movies and the TV shows. Like this could give hope that maybe that dream of all the Defenders teaming up with the Avengers and also the Punisher to do this big epic confrontation with Thanos, because let's face it, that's going to happen. And this could tie into that, and this could help like bridge the gap between the two separate alternative worlds, albeit in the same universe. Because, well, they said it's complicated, so I think they're starting to put steps into attaching both of them so they can put them into movies, since they have said they hope to turn these into movies like Daredevil, Punisher, um, and Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones, which I wouldn't really complain, since that would be awesome. So, anyways, I was surprised at how this show did. Like, there were several moments, like Cottonmouth dying. Like, I thought for sure they were going to keep him around for a while. Um, I was expecting that Merce Knight and Luke Cage were going to get together in the end, but they didn't do that. Like, they had a night of passion, and then they just stopped when he found out she was a police officer, well, a detective. And like in the comics, she is a love interest for Luke Cage, who has a love interest for Jessica Jones, and Claire Temple. Like, I was surprised that that her and Luke Cage got together. Like, wait, I thought she was interested in Daredevil. Like, like that was just my guess. Like, I never read the comics. Like, I know Daredevil has a love interest of his own, but I was thinking Claire Temple was interested in him. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure Claire Temple is going to have a big role in the Defenders. Like she's going to be the glue. She's going to be the thing that connects all these heroes together. And I also liked how the community was kind of helping out in this storyline. Like normally it's just like in the other shows it was Daredevil with a couple of his friends helping out. You had Jessica Jones who had one friend and some acquaintances. But in this show, you had a community help out. You had an entire bunch of people helping out, saying that Luke Cage is awesome and he's innocent and he's a great guy, helping out. Like, these were total strangers. And there was a moment in this show that made me laugh a bit because I know for a fact that nowadays you know what would actually happen. Like, there's a scene where a police officer, a detective, punches this kid in the face and breaks his nose, and then they say, this is the line that made me laugh a bit, a chuckle, saying that, oh, we suspended him without pay. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I call BS on that. Because if any indication says of how society is, the police officer that commits a horrible felony or crime or a misdemeanor is usually suspended with pay nowadays. Yeah, it might be tying in more real world stuff, and they try to make. I'm just saying, like, yeah, that would be the opposite of what would happen if they suspended the guy. So yeah, and I liked how at the like whereas in Daredevil, if they ended it at season one, then there would be no complaints. Well, actually, they would complain about how they wish there was more show seasons of this, but they ended with a sense of finality, and then when they got renewed for a second season, they decided to do a cliffhanger, and now they've announced a third season, and Jessica Jones had a sense of finality with some loose strings, but like Daredevil had loose strings in season one. And Luke Cage, they ended on a cliffhanger because I'm pretty sure they knew at this point, well, we just got this, so let's do this. Let's leave it on a cliffhanger. And technically, the villains won this season. That surprised me. I was expecting that to happen in season two, but no, it instead happens in the first season. Luke Cage is sent back to Seagate. Claire tells him that she's going to call a quote skilled lawyer she knows. Oh boy, I wonder who that is. Um, Knight has to go undercover in the club again since the corrupted politician since the corrupted politician is now running it, and she has committed a bunch of crimes. They just don't have proof, and like Candace is dead since Shade killed her, and Dillard walks free from this. And okay, there was a scene where Knight said that the system is broken, the justice system is broken, which is honestly true. And I was expecting her to make the argument to her feral to her what was her name, Ridley, since she was blaming her, and she could have said, well, the polices were all corrupted. I couldn't take that risk. I had to take her in somewhere a private place instead of protective custody because, like, during the show, Cottonmouth has all these policemen under his pocket. So, what are the chances that the policeman could have assassinated her? They was slightly possible. Like, there's a politician that has a lot of leeway. They could protect her under any sort of bribery. So I didn't really get mad at her for get mad at Knight. I didn't blame her for that. Like I thought she knew what she was doing, and well, the villains were one step ahead. So, anyways, like I said, Luke Cage is arrested for his escape from Seagate, and Claire gets together with him unofficially since they had to separate for a bit because of well, Luke Cage getting arrested. And okay, I would have been okay. I would have been actually fine with if Claire and Luke Cage didn't get together, like they teased it at times, and it didn't look like it was gonna happen, and then they did it. Like I would have, I actually part of me hoped that they didn't get together. That would have been a nice surprise. And also, if they go by the comics, I know there's a chance they might not be together for long, since Luke Cage and Jessica Jones in the comics are a couple, and they have a family, at least in one of the many universes they've done. So, yeah, I'm getting the feeling that Jessica Jones and him and Luke Cage might get back together later down the road after they connect the Defenders. So I say this is going to last temporarily. And Stryker, Luke Cage's half brother, um, like he was an impressive villain. Like it seems weird that the Marvel movies, with the exception of Loki and to an extent Zemo, were the only interesting villains I was actually interested in, and everyone else was just like, oh hi. And like there was the terrorist guy, but then they revealed that plot twist for him, which I'm not complaining to an extent, but like he was kind of interesting when he was the villain. Instead, it was a corrupted technologist guy. So it seemed like the Marvel TV show seems to get their antagonists right. Like you have a warped sense of justice, uh, mafia guy wanting to what he believes is right. You have Stryker who will quote Bible references, believing that he's doing justice since he feels like he's betrayed. And well, yeah, like and then you had Kilgrave, and well, he was a let's just say he was a dick. So, man, like, there were some problems with the show, but I ultimately enjoyed it and would not hesitate to watch it again. But ultimately, I can't wait for season 2, and I really can't wait for the Defenders. And also, The Punisher is coming out next year in 2017. So, after the Defenders, most likely. So, expect that to happen. So, expect awesomeness. Well, everyone, this was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.